So we begin the conversation. We're not talking about the blueprint just yet, just the conversation towards the future of our vision in Kenya. But coming just as we kick off the 1 year countdown to the next election, many people may, of course, the political class who do not agree with the president, may disadvantage this conversation by pointing out the weaknesses, failures, or even just staying away from the conversation altogether. Don't you think that that is a disadvantage to such a conversation that should be all-inclusive, and probably that it should come at a time when people are more accepting of each other?
Yeah, Fred, I think the question we should ask is, do we need a vision into the future? My answer would be yes, we need a vision into the future. Should we delay coming up with a vision into the future, especially considering the fact that the vision we had, which was Vision 2030, has just a few years to end, for the period to end? My view is that we cannot delay it. And why? It is because the future has new challenges. And some of those challenges were not envisaged when we were crafting Vision 2030. For instance, there was no AI when we were crafting Vision 2030. We did not envisage the current impact of climate change. We did not envisage the instability in global trade and change in the global trade. And then several, the level of population explosion and youth unemployment that is arising out of population explosion may have not been properly envisaged at that time. So we cannot delay to come up with a new vision. There is never a right time. This is the time. Now then, the president has not presented us, in your own words, has not presented us with a blueprint and asked us to adopt. What the president has said is that we need to come together as Kenyans to draft a new vision. And he said that the conversation about this drafting of the new vision, while it will be led by experts, and we have very respectable experts, including my own governor, who has at some point been, a minister for planning in this country, and Professor Chega, Michael Chega, very well respected, expert. While the experts will lead it, he would want the conversation to take place everywhere, amongst experts, amongst professionals, amongst the business community, amongst civil society, down to the villages and the neighborhoods and the markets and the streets. And we are hoping that this will be a conversation that unites Kenyans. The other thing the president has said is that analyzing, the vision we have had and the conversation we have had in this country after the enactment of 2010 Constitution, and it will be the new national vision that we are having after the 2010 Constitution, we have been focused on the political aspects of the implementation of our Constitution. Basically, how do we get power or retain power, and then how do we constrain power? The president is asking Kenyans, could we now, turn the discussion around and discuss what power needs to deliver to Kenyans. Specifically focus on Article 43, which promises us socioeconomic rights. And in focusing on socioeconomic rights, come up with a charter. Is it possible that the conversation could come up with a charter so that when we talk about the right to housing, we are able to measure what would we then say is the standard upon which leadership and government will be said to have contributed or achieved that, especially considering that the rights under Article 43 are said to be progressive rights, so that we are able to measure, we are able to hold leadership to account, and that this does not depend on President William Ruto, and this is a matter that anybody who takes over power even after 2032, when the president retires, should be able to continue with. So it is a conversation that, Rigathi Gachagua, Matiang'i, Kalonzo Musyoka, Edwin Sifuna, Orengo, and any other person should be comfortable to sit.
Do you see that happen?
Let me just finish. Should be comfortable to sit on the table and engage with, and that beyond sloganeering and grievance, uttering grievance, we should be able to sit and ask ourselves, where do we need to go as a country, and what do we need to do for our people, and that after that, each and every one of you could then come and tell Kenyans how you will achieve this vision. Unfortunately, the people who call themselves opposition do not have alternative ideas. When the president says, let's come up with a national charter for delivery of Article 43, yes, they will go into sloganeering. And in an ideal situation, that is what should happen.
Yes. But in such a case where we have campaigns, very polarizing campaigns, do you see that happening? And is that the ideal environment where vision should be crafted? Is
it a discussion that a Kenyan in the streets and the villages need? It is a discussion that we need.
Yes.
Okay? And therefore, it is a discussion that Kenyans should have. If one leader decides to keep off that discussion, it is all up to him, but Kenyans should have this discussion. And then I'm hoping that out of this discussion, Kenyans will then be able to measure, the rhetoric and test the rhetoric that politicians come up with in public rallies and other platforms.
Raila Odinga had even suggested a conclave, coming together of the nation. And at that point, we were not at this politically polarizing moments. There are moments where people need to come together, probably immediately after an election, where